The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Easter seals. Don't forget to donate when you can. Jesse's the only one who dressed up for today's show. Jesse's like, hey, you didn't wear a Halloween costume. I'm like, yes, I did. And I put my TJ Watt jersey back on. That's all I got.
Didn't you wear that on Friday?
No, I think I wore it 2 Fridays ago. But
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And also, I'm resurrecting the Steelers, who were terrible yesterday against Jacksonville. That's what it is.
I wore the scariest costume, for everybody listening, I wore the scariest costume in Adam Wilde's eyes.
It's a referee.
A linesman,
Yeah.
specifically, because I don't have the orange armband, so that's how you know I'm a linesman.
And you got the finger whistle?
I got the
Whoa.
offside. I'm going to fake drop.
It's dangerous.
Nope, never drop it.
Linesman. It's boo. Ah.
Oh, whoa. Oh, so I didn't think there needed to be an icing there. Oh.
Steve, what are you?
I am a guy who forgot his Blippi costume. I wore an orange sweater.
Were you going to do the Blippi Harlem Shake for us live?
No.
You weren't? Why?
Have we spoken about this?
Yeah, for sure.
On the
Listen,
show?
I don't think we
Yeah,
need
we
to say
have.
much more. I think you just need, you guys go ahead and look that up.
We did this years ago.
No.
Or if you're over 18.
Still no.
It's probably been like 5 years since we had the Blippi conversation.
yeah.
No,
'Cause
it hasn't
a while
been
ago, right?
5 years.
It's been a long time.
And it was
I wouldn't have known.
Pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
Had to be.
Oh,
No.
yeah. It was when you had a kid.
Yeah, it was. I was only
Yeah.
aware of. That's the thing about having a kid is, you get introduced to. Oh, have you ever heard of,
Coco Melon?
Coco? Yeah, but
Yeah.
like beware, like they'll
Vampirina?
Yeah,
Yeah.
some random character, and you're like, no, what obscure nonsense is this? And they have 90 million followers.
Yeah. 100%. I always wonder who their followers are, because listen, no offense to the Wiggles, but as an adult, I had enough Wiggles at home. I didn't need to follow them on social media, but they have a ton. Whose kids are these?
Well, some of them are into fitness or whatever.
Yeah.
They post stealth thirst traps.
They do. They the couple of them are into intense fitness, like walking on your hands fitness. Crazy.
I see red wiggle.
Adam, you and I would have talked about it in 2019
That's
when
when
the story came up for the radio show.
That's right.
And then it came back when Steve had a kid and discovered who Blippi was, and we had to tell SL and Steve, hey, this guy that your kid is watching, he's done some things.
Yeah.
Well, and, as a parent, you're like, well, I'm not watching that video.
Oh, I had to watch it.
You got to know what your kids are into.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to watch this and I'm going to hate it. And I did. You have to.
I didn't mind it.
Yeah. What I
Hot take.
never
It was
understood
okay.
about the video, and by the way, he does the Harlem Shake, and I'm not going to tell you what happens next.
Explain the Harlem Shake trend.
Oh God,
I
that's
think
10
people
years
don't
ago.
even know what
So
that is.
Harlem Shake was a song that had a electronic beat and a build up. And then what people used to do on social media is for the build up, they would just hold in Tableau, and then the light would go out, and then it would say, do the Harlem Shake. And then you'd see people going crazy. And you saw people do it on buses, at university lectures, in stadiums or whatever. And then there was the Blippi version before he was Blippi. And he had to apologize and say, I'm sorry, I was a comedian back then.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm not sure which part of that was comedy.
It was pretty sure. I mean, listen, we all try some things.
We do.
Maddie, pull up the Vice article.
How kids YouTube star Blippi used copyright law to hide his Harlem Shake video or Harlem Shake poop video.
Yeah. That's all you need to know. Now, by the way, it is out there. You can still watch
And Reddit, everything kind of exists
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And it hurt his fame. Kidding. He's so successful that he's able to hire Blippi impersonators to tour the world for him.
And it was BuzzFeed News
Yeah.
that published it. Remember when BuzzFeed had news and they did some good news breaking.
Mm-hmm.
Besides their dumb articles about here's 20 things you didn't know about.
Yeah, so it was that week, February 15th, and then that Wednesday of that week is when the BuzzFeed news article went viral.
Does BuzzFeed exist anymore, by the way?
Yeah, it does. But they shut down the news division this year, I think.
Oh,
it was.
okay.
They made a bunch of headlines. When they shut it
Wow.
down. Yeah.
Damn.
Not that many headlines.
Well, if BuzzFeed's not around, who's going to write about it?
20 reasons we shut down BuzzFeed News, and you won't believe number 7.
Yeah. 20 reasons to be incredibly dismayed at the state of journalism. You will believe all 20 of them.
I want to do a quick shout out to Kelsey, Mark, Christopher, Daniel, Dean, Kevin, and Scott, who have all donated to my page.
Hey!
And left very nice messages as well on my Easter Seals page. So thank you very much. Currently, Steve is in first.
Yeah.
Currently, Jesse's in second.
Oh,
And currently, I am in third.
Our team is in second, though.
Yeah.
So we got to
So here's my thing.
get those numbers up.
You don't need Steve and Jesse don't need your donations. I do.
yeah, we do.
Because I need to beat Steve. Okay, the goal this
true.
year, Adam Wilde takes on Steve. Beat Steve.
I don't know.
I think I can take down the champion. I could get your rally caps on, put them on inside out. Let's go. You've raised $21,800 and I've raised $674 and I feel like
1,000?
no,
Damn.
just $674.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like I can catch him. Don't you think, Jesse?
I don't think so. Hey, everybody out there, in the description of this podcast are donation pages to Adam's, Steve's, and my donation pages. And if you want to keep Adam in third place, hit my link.
Uh-oh, Jesse. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Do you hear that?
What?
The footsteps?
Of what?
Adam Wilde coming up the rear. He's going to catch us.
No, keep him in third. I want second. That's my goal. I want second.
I'm gonna get you. Getting you. All right. So listen, let's talk about the Battle of LBerta.
Yes.
As somebody rightly pointed out in our comments section, compliment section. That's what we have it as. Yeah, compliments.
I thought
Yes.
Steve's title for last episode was really good.
It was good.
Scuffle of Alberta.
Not as good.
Battle of LBerta is, I think, it's the
it's
one
much better.
time.
You think it's better?
I think it's better.
I think Battle of LBerta is.
Scuffle of Alberta? Combine the two?
I see. I've also used Scuffle of Ontario before when the
have
Leafs
you?
and Sens were bad. So I recycled a second best joke. Boo.
Damn.
Boo fart. Cancel the pod. Cancel the fucking pod. It's over.
We're terrible at this.
Bad play.
Right.
Off the
You
hooking.
thought I was gonna drop a good joke and no, I faked it.
Didn't a ref have a moment? It's funnily enough, before we get to the Alberta, didn't the ref have a moment? I thought Mikey Stevens retweeted something where he's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he's so funny!" Like another one of the
Was it Wes McCauley?
Was it Wes McCauley this
I don't know.
weekend?
Yeah, because he didn't say too many men. No,
What did he say?
they had 6 guys, and I think it was.
Was that supposed to be funny?
I don't know, I think it was Bleacher Report was like, like, what, guys? Wes McCauley's over. It's done.
Yeah.
Are we starting a Wes McCauley is over party?
Yeah, 5 minutes for fighting, and then he did it again. 5 minutes for fighting.
Do you remember when fan groups used to do that on Twitter and they'd trend? They'd be like the Ariana Grande is over party. Yeah, and then or Taylor Swift is over party, and it would be like fan groups fighting with each other. Should we start that?
Like, I feel like in order for all those calls to be good again, he needs to be like a good NHL official. And
Stop it!
what?
You got a problem with the laughing emoji at the end of their tweet here? They have 6 skaters on the ice for too many for Wes McCauley. This is Bleacher Report on open ice. And then they have the laughing emoji.
El Mao.
You think they should retract the laughing emoji?
No. I think I don't care about this person.
I'm sure he's a nice guy. It's not about the person. It's about the call on the ice not being comedic.
I am positive he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Okay.
Not to be a stick in the mud.
It's so funny, right? Like you're sticking the mud about very few things, but this is really one of them. That's why I bring it up, 'cause you hate this.
Dude, I can find humor in almost anything. Anytime anyone's like, "Lol, did you see Wes McCauley?" I'm like, "Fucking get out of my face."
All right, so if you're a good friend of Steve Dangle, and that means following him on Twitter, anytime Wes McCauley does anything, you know what to do.
Oh,
Tweet it at him.
But this is a person within the NHL trying to have fun.
yeah. And if you see someone with a hockey jersey and a series of giant stinky lumps in their pants, just know that it's because they shit themselves from laughing at Wes McCauley's wacky calls. Shut up. Shut up. What's he going to do in the third period? I bet it's call nothing. Shut up.
Oh, wow.
People don't forget.
2 minutes.
People don't forget.
for fighting.
Fighting!
2 minutes for salt.
The Battle of LBerta, we were wondering which team racing to the bottom. Would it be the number 30th ranked Oilers or the 31st ranked Flames? Actually, it was the other way around going into this. It was the 30th ranked Flames
Oh,
versus
and they
the
flipped?
31st. They flipped after this game.
Whoa!
because the Oilers won, and it's a big one. 55,000 people there. McDavid actually played.
Yes.
And you could hear there were on Hockey Night in Canada, they were doing the panel shows from inside the football stadium, which is super cool. I actually what a visual. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
And you could hear Ron McLean. He's like, you could just hear him go, I'm so glad you're playing. This would have been bad.
Yeah.
But
A lot of complaints from fans within the stadium, though.
Oh, really?
The bathroom situation was very similar to the one that happened in Hamilton.
Why can't the CFL figure out fucking bathrooms, dude?
No, they can't do it.
Anybody that goes to Tim Hortons Field in Hamilton regularly, tell me, do you have to wait an hour in line like we did? Mm-hmm. There's 40,000 seats in there. What do you mean you don't have a pee trough?
I'm telling you, just dehydrate yourself with really salty popcorn and enjoy the game lethargically.
So Jesse, there was huge long lines. What else?
The concourse was packed. Like people, when you're going to the concourse, it was just too many people, I think, for them to handle at the same time.
Right.
And Commonwealth Stadium has never been the best facility in and of itself, in the first place.
Right.
So I think it was not the greatest fan experience.
I saw a complaint from a fan who went in a wheelchair and they spent $400 on tickets, and people were not understanding what the wheelchair section was, and they were just using it to get to their seats.
Yep.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anyway, I guess that's not on the event itself.
No, I mean it's on the facility and it's on the management of it, and frankly, and I think we saw this a little bit when the Leafs played Buffalo in Hamilton at that Buffalo home game in Hamilton. Weird. That sometimes when a facility is not used to taking that many people, they get overmatched. And it's not like they're going to hire staff for just that event, because you got to train them, you got to bring them on board, all that sort of thing. So I can see how that could happen.
You also hated it because of the bathroom situation, but Jesse's being a little dishonest.
What is it?
He hated it for a different reason.
Is he being disingenuous?
He's being Yeah, no, let's stick with that one.
All right, cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's he saying? What's he doing?
Well, you know what he's leaving out is that Jesse ripped his pants at second intermission.
Oh, yeah. How did you do that?
From crotch to knee.
I was stepping over the back of the seat. One of those
right.
where you don't want to disturb the people who are in your row, so you step over the back to get out. And I did one of those, and right down from crotch.
So it's freezing temperatures, super wet air, and Jesse's sitting there with an exposed leg for 45 minutes.
I want to shout out.
Weirdly, he didn't enjoy it.
I've done this a few times, but there were some SDP listeners there, and one of them was like, Adam, you look cold. Here. And he threw glove warmers at me.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was super cool. It was really nice.
What about the girl who said she didn't like me? Do you remember that?
She was a Sabres fan, was she not?
Yeah. She's like, I don't like you, or whatever. And I was like, oh no. I didn't know what to say.
I don't think she minded you by the end of the game.
No, by the end of it, she's like, you're fine. I'm like, oh, good.
Yeah. The other thing about Commonwealth Stadium, we'll get to the actual game, but afterwards, we had a live stream for Game Over.
Yes.
All of the Game Over crew got together, and the stream was over an hour delayed because the guys were at the game and they couldn't get to the pint to do the live stream.
Yeah, because you can't leave.
Because nobody could leave. And it's just, when these events happen, it seems like nobody has the foresight to think about, hey, we got 55,000 people leaving at the same time. They don't all arrive at the same time because people arrive at different times. But when the game's over, they're all leaving at the same time, and no one really thinks about that.
I don't know what you do to fix that, because I left an outdoor game in Foxborough, Habs Bruins, and it was the same shit.
Yeah.
So it's not just a CFL.
I think you have. I think you have some that are better equipped. For instance, Steelers, 55,000 people.
Yeah.
Whenever we leave, we expect to walk at least across the river, unless you're taking the Gateway Clipper, which is the boat that goes up to the Mount Washington. So you're expecting to walk 25 minutes or something like that.
Damn.
Because that's just part of it. That's just what you do. If you're going to drive, forget it. You're stuck there forever. So I think, yeah, 55,000 people. The only way I could see that happening is if you had 3 trains lined up and you just kept cycling them.
For as much
an airport
shit as we give the city of Toronto, the Rogers Center is perfectly placed.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's perfectly placed. Same with Scotiabank.
Yep.
You know, it's right next to the train station, you know, and that's where you want. And if anybody's going to the game, you exit there and you're in the open space, and the people disperse in a very convenient way.
It's maybe the one good transit decision Toronto has ever made.
Yeah.
Well, they stole it from New York.
Yeah.
The idea to build, so Scotiabank was supposed to be on top of, the Air Canada Centre was supposed to be on top of Union Station, and then they reworked the plans to make it next to it.
Better that they did.
Yeah, because Madison Square Garden is 3 floors above the train station. So yeah,
and it kind of has to be. It's New York, right? Like people forget when Scotiabank Arena was built, it was just a piece of empty land, which is kind of weird. Toronto that used to have this gigantic plots of empty land where nothing happened, and it was an old post office.
I'm taking satisfaction in us taking the Battle of Alberta
and making it about Toronto.
Making it about Toronto.
Well, listen,
in our transit system.
55,000 fans. McDavid played, and hey, listen, I want a round of applause because Seaweed Man got his first goal.
Yeah,
Vinny Desharnais, not David,
and was in the box for a goal against. But we're not going to talk about that.
That's right. It looked like it was Evander Kane's goal. It wasn't. Stuart Skinner looked strong enough.
Yes,
looked not like a sieve.
Well, I mean, it's the outdoor game, so take the under generally.
Sure, but it was 7 goals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
5-2.
Yeah.
The
overhit.
The one thing I really wanted.
Well, then never mind.
Yeah,
don't
take that.
I don't know. You're giving a bad betting advice.
That was wrong. That was wrong.
The game had already happened too. It's not like you were trying to predict something.
There's a reason.
It hit the over.
There's a reason they don't call it Drew and Steve.
Oh my God! But
I'm so tired.
And you did have a late night last night doing something, working on a secret project.
Yes,
which we're thrilled about.
Yes.
So Steve's going to be, we're going to make it a little easier on you today, buddy, because we're going to do an extra long press conference, which is good.
I'm such an idiot.
But first, we do really need to hit this, and I want to bring this up. Steve, explain to everybody who doesn't already know, and Jesse, you've heard this a million times. Forgive me. Tell me about the punk test. What's the punk test?
The punk test. It's an old story from a comedian named Patrice O'Neill, and he told a story from his childhood where he was. He's a teenager, he's in high school, he's playing a game of pickup basketball, and some guy who he wasn't friends with, some guy he didn't recognize, joins the game. And all through the game, he's giving him an elbow, he's pushing on him, he's stepping on his foot, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And the whole game, Patrice didn't do anything about it. So at the end of the game, the guy robbed him. He took his 4X tall Puma suit is how the story goes. And he knew he could rob him. He knew he could get away with it because all throughout the basketball game, he gave him the punk test. Can I punk this guy? Mm-hmm. If I elbow him, if I do this, if I do that, is he going to do anything? Is he going to step to me? And he didn't. And that's why he got robbed.
Now, this has played out several times as Leaf fans in different varieties, right? Where we've been a little bit, the team's been a little bit soft in moments where you need to be a little bit hard.
Yes.
And sometimes you see it happen in other games as well as a Leaf fan. It's crazy. But I
think I know what you're going to say.
Evander Kane.
Oh, he owns their hearts and souls.
Knocks down Nazem Kadri from behind. Mm-hmm. The Flames did a thing that the Leafs have not done in the past, but would do this year.
Yeah.
Which is they circled him. They were like, we're gonna get in there and I'm gonna grab you.
There's got to.
I'm gonna grab your collar. I'm gonna grab it. I'm gonna stretch it.
Nothing's gonna happen to you.
You're gonna have to put that in the dryer to get it back into shape.
Yeah, you're gonna know that I'm upset. You got to at very least do that for God's sake.
100%. Now,
stinky glove, something.
The crazy thing about this particular punk test is Evander Kane knocks over their best center, second best center, whoever debate, from behind. And a bunch of Flames circle around, and he's mic'd up because it's the Heritage Classic, and he says something to the effect of, "What's anyone here going to do?"
Yeah, what are any of you going to do about it? And they do not have a human being on that roster. Think about it. Who's it going to be?
Well, Zadorov? That would be my instant thought.
Question mark?
Right.
Who's it going to be?
So this is the issue, right? You've got a I do want to bring this up because I do think it matters. And maybe it's too far in the past, but if you remember, the Leafs and the Flames in Matthew Tkachuk's last season in Calgary played each other, and I believe it was Jake Muzzin at the end of the game flipped the puck into Matthew Tkachuk. Yeah. Now, they were nemesis before when I think when Jake Muzzin played in LA. In LA because Drew Doughty and Matthew Tkachuk hate each other. And Muzzin and Muzzin and Doughty played together a lot. So Matthew Tkachuk loses his mind. None of the Flames players do anything. And when he leaves, he slams the door. And everybody's like, yeah, we're just a little tired of Matthew Tkachuk's bullshit. That's what made it out. The quote was out there, but there was no sourcing, right? We didn't know who said it.
Right.
And I looked at that last night and I thought, man, wouldn't you love a little Matthew Tkachuk bullshit?
Oh, dude. Well, this is why I was so hard on the Leafs when that report came out that they were kind of sick of Michael Bunting. And listen, we can have the debate of whether or not he should have been back on the team. Did Carolina overpay? What kind of a player is he? And I mean, his antics with the officials. But Bunting did something that no other player on the team did last year, which was enter the fray. And he entered the fray enough that they were like, ugh, we're tired of that. We don't want him to do that.
Well, and other teams ISO'd him. They were able to get to him because he was the only guy who would do it.
Yeah, if Matthews is getting fucked with, he'll jump in there, and so will Mark Giordano, the oldest active skater in the NHL, a year ago.
And he did it a couple of games ago, too. Fired himself like a torpedo.
Yes. Yes. Oh, my God. So if that happens, those two will do it. Those guys Bunting's not on the fringe of the lineup, but Gio is. And they got sick of it because when he got fucked with and couldn't even stick up for himself because the officiating in this league is beyond atrocious. No one did anything. No one stuck up for him.
Yeah.
They abandoned him.
Yeah.
And, they seem to be a bit of a tougher team this year. I don't suspect things like that will happen again. Where they're just like, nah, we're going to let you get your ass kicked. But...
you mean the Leafs?
Yeah, the Leafs.
Okay.
So this was really concerning. With the Flames...
Right.
It is the opposite. You kind of see... the Flames and Oilers had a really good rivalry going where they were kind of making moves for the purpose of each other, right? Not just for building the best team... not just for building a team that could survive this division. Getting Evander Kane made sense for the Oilers, but he really did seem like a Matthew Tkachuk answer. Mm-hmm. And you saw in their playoff series against each other, Kane was on Tkachuk like shit on Velcro.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Even the Lucic signing.
Yes.
When he was in Calgary, that was when you're going to go in the playoffs, you're going to go up against some killers in the Pacific Division, and including Edmonton.
Yes. So, you get what's Kadri supposed to do? Kadri is going to go at McDavid. That's how I viewed that signing. But and Flames fans, I am speaking from an area of expertise now. Nazem Kadri and the type of player that he is, he needs enablers. He needs guys who will let him do his nonsense.
Yes. Yeah.
If you don't have guys like that on your roster, if you don't have guys like that who will make Kadri 2 or 3 inches taller, people are talking about oh yeah, I think he has a goal now.
He has a goal and an assist in 9 games.
What's he supposed to do?
Well, and let's take, Leaf fans know a lot about an ISO'd Nazem Kadri. Look at what the Bruins did to him.
Yes.
Look what the Bruins were able to push him into doing.
They got him suspended twice.
Right.
They got and
they suspended him just one of the suspensions didn't even have a game limit on it. It was just till the series is done.
That's such a mockery of sports. Oh yeah, you're suspended for we don't know. Fucking just sit. We don't like you.
Those are
a joke.
That's how every single part of the NHL rulebook is written for just ultimate interpretation by Gary Bettman. Mm-hmm. Whatever he wants to do at the time.
How is that allowed?
That's how they've written it. It's such a joke, and every time it comes up, I'm going to bring it up because it's ridiculous.
I'll never get over that. You're suspended for I don't know. Like, what was it, 3 to 6 games or
Just
something like
an
that?
arbitrary amount of time.
Yeah.
This.
You have a timeout. What? You're just not allowed to play against the... What?
This Calgary Flames roster, it's verging on they need a full reset. Is it not? Like,
no, I think they should fucking re-sign absolutely everyone.
Because last season, the biggest complaint is we just need goaltending. Jake Markstrom, he was 892, I think it was, or whatever, last season. And if they have any kind of goaltending, they're a playoff team. But you look at the sum of the pieces now, and Markstrom hasn't been bad. It's just the entire team has been so poor, and no guys that had down years last year. They're still having down years. Yeah, so when is it just you?
I'm trying to grade on a curve here, and I'm like, okay, well, they don't have Shillington. If they had Shillington, dude, that can't sink your whole team. That can't be the
Oliver
difference.
Shillington sinking the whole Calgary Flames.
He's a good player, but that's not the difference between a clear playoff team and near dead last in the entire league when the Sharks exist.
If the Sharks didn't exist, this is the worst team in the National Hockey League. And I worry, so the game last night, I worry about teams who go up against bad teams. Like Washington looked really kind of like good.
Yeah.
Washington's back, but they're playing San Jose.
Yeah.
They almost lost that game.
Yeah, it took to the last 5 minutes of the third period for them to win that game. Right?
But it's San Jose. So, like, how much do you take away from that? And with Calgary, like, Edmonton isn't that good. And you have a vulnerable Edmonton team who's like, we need this one. We got to come out and do it. And they did it.
And it meant something to them. It was like a playoff game.
But
McDavid was like, I'm hurt, but I'm playing.
And the panel talked a lot about that afterwards, about how Edmonton showed up ready because they knew this could be our turnaround game. And Calgary should have looked at it the exact same way.
I think some of them did. Backlund was saying it will feel really good on Monday morning if we wake up with a win.
And how does it feel?
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
You show up Monday morning. What happened?
Ryan Huska, New Flames coach Ryan Huska, called the Kadri, Huberdeau, Coronado line, quote, quiet.
It was bad.
From Julian McKenzie's article on it with The Athletic. It's been 10 days since the Flames scored more than 2 goals in a hockey game.
Oh,
now,
by the way,
today's 11, by the way.
Huberdeau, Kadri, Coronado. Mm-hmm. So there's another combination. That wasn't even the line we were talking about last show.
No.
The Flames have scored only 3 times at 5-on-5 across their last 4 games.
Ooh.
From Eric Francis, scoring both their goals on the power play, the Flames generated just 4 high-danger scoring chances while playing 5-on-5, compared to 19 by the Oilers. During this 5-game losing skid, the Flames have scored 3 goals while on 5-on-5.
So it's whack-a-mole. You got your goaltending somewhat fixed, and now you can't score. This team should be able to score, for God's sake. Like,
where's the evidence that they can do it?
I guess, like, what are the words I'm looking for? I have to update my eyes. Mm-hmm. It's sort of with the Canucks. Like, I look at the roster, I go, that's a pretty good roster, and no, apparently I got to update my eyes. Because actually the roster looks like crap.
Now, I will say this, and you guys are going to roll your eyes, but don't roll your eyes just yet. Okay, it's a small sample size, but the Mangiapane, Lindholm, Huberdeau combo is 17th, which is pretty good in expected goals overall.
Okay.
17th.
I saw this yesterday.
For context, Bertuzzi, Matthews, Marner is 19th.
Right.
Okay, now, when you look at the power play, which is where you'd expect the goals are going to come in, they're not playing together. Mangiapane is on the second unit. Huberdeau and why is his name escaping me right now? Lindholm are on the first.
Elias.
Yeah. And that's, by the way, that's with offensive and defensive lines. On offensive lines, just offensive lines, they're 10th.
Is Andrew Mangiapane just Calgary Nikolai Ehlers? Like, clearly first-line talent, but coach, for whatever reason, his coach is just like, meh. Nah, I don't feel like it.
I always thought Nick Ehlers was like, his closest comparable coming up was like William Nylander.
It should have been. Yeah, no, they were picked 1 and 2.
Yeah, people loved making that comparison.
No, 1 and 2.
Because of how closely they were picked together. Yeah.
And their seasons kind of mirrored each other early on anyway. Just haven't.
So the one thing I noticed with Mangiapane there, like, to me, that shows great defensive metrics. But like, go look at his points and everyone else's points. Like, listen, expected goals are good. It's a sign that good things are happening. It's a sign that you should literally expect goals to happen if you continue to play like this. And the other team can't be on offense when they're always on defense, right? That's good. Puck has to fucking go in.
Yeah.
And
Puck has to go in, man.
I guess our memories kind of deceive us about how we think about Calgary because they weren't that great of a goal scoring team last season. I was just checking in to look at the stats once again. And in goals for per game, they finished 19th. And in power play percentage, they were all the way down in 22nd.
I'm going to go.
They weren't a high-powered offense last season.
No, they weren't.
either.
That was part of the problem.
And then, so what happened? Did they do anything to fix that?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say breaking up the 340 goal scorers line was bad.
Like
I'm big on bold takes.
Nothing changed from April to October. What are we? October 30th in terms of their offensive firepower. It's the same team.
And don't believe me, this is not lost on me. The majority of this is Brad Treliving.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is concerning.
Well, hold on. Part of it was Murray Edwards.
But yes.
Do you think
that's where the waters are muddy.
Here's what I don't understand. Okay, when we talked about this with Johnny Gaudreau going into his last year, why did Calgary's good offer to Johnny Gaudreau not come until like an hour before he was set to be a free agent? Do you really think, based on what you've seen for Brad Treliving thus far, that's a Brad choice?
I mean, who is he?
I mean, maybe he's going to go toe-to-toe with Nylander and the same thing will happen. I don't know. But it seemed...
Willie's kicking his ass right now.
Yeah. It seemed a little bit like that... As much as we have to put that at the foot of the general manager, sometimes their hands are tied. And we know that this owner does not like to spend money. It was look, he just got the public to fund half of his arena.
The waters are definitely muddy in terms of what has happened with the Flames over the last 2-3 years. Yeah. But
I mean, Treliving couldn't have the coach he wanted.
Well, so
we know that.
We know the coach situation. There's the Matthew Tkachuk thing. A lot of Flames fans have a pretty good view of that. Like, well, he made the best of a bad situation. He wasn't going to stay. He got Mackenzie Weegar and Jonathan Huberdeau. We can talk about the Huberdeau extension, but you live with that. Okay, fine. You lose Gaudreau for nothing. There's not a whole lot of anything to love there.
Well, and that's because
there's no silver.
They thought they had a slam dunk to get him or to keep him, and then beyond that, in the last year of his previous deal, he had a no move. So as soon as July 1st kicked in that last year, they couldn't move him.
And then you go, okay, well, we're going to use that cap space to get Nazem Kadri, who you bought high on.
Yep.
And I like Naz. You bought high.
And we've seen that it's way too high.
What's he make?
$7 million. I think it's 7 times 7.
I don't hate it.
I really don't hate it either.
But I feel like
the times 7 is tough.
And you know what? Give him one piece of credit, Sutter. Last year, he did say in training camp, we don't have any finishers.
Which is...
Lindholm had 40 goals the previous year.
Lindholm had 40 goals.
Mangiapane scored.
Kadri can score 40. Sutter...
Kadri's never scored 40 goals in his entire career.
He didn't score 40 that year in Colorado?
No, he scored 28 goals.
Oh.
How many points did he have?
28-59. He had 87 points.
Holy shit, really?
Yeah, Kadri's career high is 32 goals. He did back-to-back years, 16, 17, 17, 18 with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
No
and then
way.
Calgary last year had 24 goals, 21-22 with Colorado, 28 goals. This idea that Nazem Kadri is a 40-goal scorer is what's
made up, apparently.
Barbara Streisand effect? Is that no, the one where you misremember something?
Oh,
that didn't happen.
The Roger Clemens effect, isn't it?
I forget.
I misremember if I took steroids.
The Roger Clemens effect.
Mangiapane, by the way, outside of a 35-goal year a couple years ago, has only ever scored 17 or 18 goals.
He had 35
2 years ago.
He was so damn good. Remember we were talking about the Canadian Olympic team?
Yeah.
And then they were like, we can't. Mangiapane can't make the Canadian Olympic team. Cancel the Olympics.
Yeah.
And so they did.
Maybe it was Tyler Toffoli. Maybe he was the thing that was holding this whole thing together.
Maybe stop losing all your good players.
And they got rid of Tyler Toffoli and everything's crumbling. Mandela effect, by the way. Is the word
I like the Roger Clemens effect way better.
We can change it.
That's way funny.
Way better.
way better.
You know, the fall's always a grind. And one of the things that kind of gets you through is your routine. And if your routine is good, then you should be able to kind of make it through. Because there's a lot going on. Obviously, there's the back to school thing, there's Thanksgiving, there's Halloween, depends on what side of the border you're at, which order that comes in. And then, of course, the big holiday at the end of it.
What is that?
Some of us call it Christmas. I don't know if you've heard of it.
The Feast of St. Stephen.
That's right.
Oh, there you go.
So there's a lot. So one of the things that we highly recommend, Jesse specifically, is AG1.
Yes.
And it keeps you fired up. Make sure you get all your vitamins, even when you're crazy busy. And Jesse works literally all the time.
Yeah, no, that's such a key point. I think that's very important to illustrate this point. It's an easy way to stay on top of this aspect of your health. It's just, you take this every morning. It's simple. You do it without thinking. And every day, you're getting all of the vitamins and nutrients that you need.
And AG1 helps you build your health foundation first. It's science-driven formula with vitamins, probiotics, and whole food source nutrients. Probiotics, you know what that means. Regularity. That's right.
I was like, not antibiotic.
It's a comprehensive solution, and if it's what you need with your supplement routine, then try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/SDP. That's drinkag1.com/SDP. Check it out. We have 28 million confirmed geeks in North America.
That's so many geeks.
And we
A
can
lot of
prove
nerds.
it. We can prove it. Dorks. You know why? Because 28 million people have downloaded the SeatGeek app.
Ooh,
The
wow.
#1 rated ticketing app. 70,000 events every single day on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports festivals, and more. If you want to go to a live event a la, I don't know, a hockey game?
What?
SeatGeek
Yeah.
is the way to go, you nerd.
That's crazy.
I hear Taylor Swift does shows.
She does. I mean, they're difficult to get, but 70,000 events every single day. SeatGeek is the place to find them, I would say.
That's so many events.
It's a lot of events. I don't know how they keep track of all that, to be honest with you. I have legitimate questions for SeatGeek.
We need to talk to some
Hey,
guy.
seat nerds. Anyway, they put all the tickets across the web in one place. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10. So it means that, green is good, red is bad. Every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee as well. And SeatGeek is the only site that lets you return your tickets ahead of the event with swaps. And we want to come through for you guys.
Whoa.
Okay? Join the geeks like us. Use the code SDP for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with the promo code SDP. And make sure you click the link in the description in the video or on the podcast side to download the app. You guys did mention the Sharks. The Sharks were 0-7 in fun this weekend. We haven't seen a 0-7 in fun in a long time, but unfortunately, as of last night, they're now 0-8 in fun. Which is 0-8 in 1. And here's the thing. It was a heartbreaker, as I mentioned. Tom Wilson scored with 4:45 left in the third period. Their next game against Vancouver is Thursday, which means the Sharks did not register a win in the entire month of October.
They own the San Jose Sharks franchise owns the record for least amount of wins in a season. So it's going to be fun.
That was their
to
opening
see.
year, though. That wasn't fair. Was
Yeah,
it?
but I think they had 11 wins. They were like 11-72 or whatever, or it was an 84 game season. I gotta look it up. And then so it's going to be fun to see if they can beat that Sharks team.
Here's the amount of goals the Sharks have scored in every game. 1, 3. They allowed 6. 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1. So I think we were worried about the wrong trade in the offseason. We're like, Mackenzie Blackwood, dude, that guy would have at least 4 or 5 wins on almost any other team in the league.
Yes.
Like, he's making a ton of saves for them. They cannot score a frigging goal. And I'm cheering for this story so hard. I'm cheering for this player so hard. Zadina, I think, has 2 goals and no assists. Who scored for them?
I don't even remember. I can look it up. Hang on.
I had all eyes on Blackwood. I picked him up in fantasy because I needed a goalie
Oh
start.
God, you must have needed a goalie.
I did.
that's
I did.
the-
I won.
Holy shit,
I won,
that's
but it was
bad.
by the skin
That's
of my
really bad.
He was a plus. He made a lot of saves, so he was a positive, even though he didn't get the win.
Goals.
Luke Kunin scored.
Fabian Zetterlund and Philip Zadina currently lead the Sharks with goals, each with 2.
So for as poor as Zadina's season has been, he's leading the Sharks in goals.
Yeah.
There was Luke Kunin who got the goal last night.
Luke Cunningham.
And the record that the Sharks hold is most losses in an NHL regular season. They had 71 losses in the 93 season. The Ottawa Senators actually had less wins, but more ties. That same season, they went 10-70-4.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and the Winnipeg Jets one year, they went 9-57-14. So there's teams with less wins, but no team with more losses than the 93 San Jose Sharks.
Quick question for you guys. Trivia. I don't expect you to get this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. 82 times 2 is 164. That's 2 seasons worth of games. If you watched all 164 games for the San Jose Sharks in the last 2 years, how many wins would you have seen?
The last 2 years? Like prior to this one?
So like not including this.
Not including this year, because there's obviously no wins, but also not including this year.
Okay.
52.
That's so high.
Jesse.
30.
Well, you know what, Steve, I hate how good you are at this. 54 games.
Hey!
Which, by the way, is still less than a third.
Wow.
And I think in the last 91 games, so this year and last year combined, it's 22 total wins. In 90 games. We could see the San Jose Sharks at maybe 3 or 4 wins by the time they hit 100. In the between this year and last year, and they might have won 1/4 of their games.
So that's what I'm saying. They got to win 3 out of their next 8 games to get to a quarter. Can they do it?
It's crazy. Now, Shark and Steve said this too on the weekend, and I'm gonna lift this from you, Sharks fans. The Leafs went 0-7 in fun before their first win, and they didn't even think they'd be bad.
Right. That Leafs team was still worse than this.
Oh no, that Leafs team expected to make the playoffs.
They expected to make the playoffs. Now they were without Phil Kessel, but like you knew that when you acquired him. The Sharks are bad very much by design. So I don't think they meant to be this bad.
I don't think they did.
I don't think Mike Greer, who played in the NHL proudly for many years, is like, yes.
Did you see them?
No wins through 9 games. Yes.
Their admin was really, that Vince McMahon clip that's crying. They were like the first 8 games of this year, and it's Vince McMahon crying.
I mean, they're trying.
They got a sense of humor about it. I like it.
We also have to apologize to the Anaheim Ducks, because I think all of us had the Ducks below the Sharks, and now that we've seen them on the ice, there's no way any team's going to finish below the Sharks.
I don't feel bad about that.
Why?
Because Frank Vetrano has 2 hat tricks. What the? Who called
that coming?
No, I didn't.
Didn't they end the Avs winning streak? Didn't the Ducks win?
Dude, it was Chicago. I think ended Vegas, and Anaheim ended the Bruins.
That's what it was.
All the winning streaks ended in the dumbest way possible.
It's hockey for you.
That's hockey for you.
Senators are going to face some punishment.
How quickly is the beginning of this season for the Ottawa Senators approaching the Uber season?
What do you mean the Uber season?
In
terms of disasters?
The season where they had the Uber scandal that should have never happened. That driver's a scumbag, but the beginning of that season was thing after thing after thing after thing. And that was another season where they expected to be good. They were coming off they were a goal away from going to the Stanley Cup.
Matt Duchene was new. Expected to be a good team.
Exactly. This year, there's the Shane Pinto waiting game. Then there's the Shane Pinto, we find out what happened.
Yeah.
Part of it.
You could throw in the Josh Norris injury, not injury.
The Josh Norris injury, not injury. The cap situation.
The fact that the guy that they got for DeBrincat, who has 12 points already, just scored his first goal this weekend.
You could throw that in there.
Kubalik did get one.
Yeah. Oh, hey. Whoa, there you go.
I think the DeBrincat saga, I think, is 100% in there. That's part of it. That was bad.
He's killing it right now. Doesn't he lead the league in goals?
I think so.
He might still, yeah.
First or second?
Yeah.
Brandstrom goes down. I mean, there are some...
Team doesn't like him anyway, or the coach doesn't like him for some dumb reason.
There are some things that the team can't help, right? So, that injury was horrific. Thomas Chabot going down for 4-6 weeks is crazy bad for them. Like, I know I'm forgetting some. Like, there are bright
All
spots.
ammunition that Sens fans are going to use next summer for why they'll be a playoff team next year.
I got one for you.
I'll be saying the same thing.
I got one for you. Leaving your goaltender who they want to pull in the net to go out for the third period, and then having one of your players go over and tap him on the shoulder and say, "Hey, you're not in the game
That
anymore."
was brutal. Like, there are some bright spots. Like, Ridley Grigg is legitimately doing great as a rookie, but things are going bad, and Adam's about to explain how it could get worse.
Well, so Evgenii Dadonov, if you guys remember this, he was traded from the Vegas Golden Knights to the Anaheim Ducks, except he wasn't. This happened on trade deadline March 2022, and we don't fully know why, but what it came down to was, hey, wait a second, the Anaheim Ducks are on my no-trade list. And they said, wait a second, the Knights did. They said, wait a second, you don't have a no-trade list. You didn't file it. So if you don't remember, Dadonov had signed with the Senators and then been traded to the Golden Knights after a year with Ottawa. And they were under the impression, the Golden Knights were, that he had not submitted his list. As it turned out, that wasn't true. And Anaheim was among the lists on the team that Dadonov had on his list, for teams he wasn't going to be dealt to. The trade was voided by the NHL. And Elliot Friedman reported on Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday Headlines. He said, sometime, I think in the next few days, the NHL is going to announce some sort of punishment to the Senators for that situation. I think we're going to get a clear explanation of what occurred and why Vegas wasn't at fault.
Wow.
And, you know,
Because it was Ottawa's responsibility to hand over that trade protection
Yes.
to Vegas during the trade. And the agent came out and said, no, I submitted this list in Ottawa. You have it. Give it to Vegas. And Ottawa's like, no, it doesn't exist.
To be
So
fair-
it's Ottawa's fault.
and to be fair to Ottawa, only Pierre Dorian worked at the Senators at that time. It was one person.
Like,
He was in an office all by
literally.
himself. Like, I'm not surprised with the skeleton crew that they had behind the scenes. Remember, we had actual segments like, who works there?
Spartacat is actually one of their scouts.
That's true.
Oh,
part-time.
We've gotten some messages over the years, and I've
I
spoken to
had a DM the other day saying how bad it was working, especially when Eugene came in.
I haven't heard a good review yet of
Yeah.
like, I'm sure some people have a great time there. I haven't heard a good review yet.
I'm sure that's going to change under Andlauer.
I'm also sure.
I am not surprised coming off of COVID, coming off of another bad year, coming off, the owner is in not great health at that point as well.
Yep.
And remember, Pierre Dorian had to deal with the other Pierre.
McGuire.
That's right. So I think there was some chaos behind the scenes.
What's he doing?
I don't know.
Is he on TV?
No,
I don't know. I haven't heard of him.
no, he hasn't
Or
been.
heard from him.
I haven't heard from him
You
at all.
didn't text them? No.
No, I don't have his number.
So there will be some sort of punishment to the Sens, which kind of sucks for Andlauer because I'm like, I'd be like,
didn't
man,
do it.
I didn't do this.
Yeah.
Why didn't you wrap this up earlier? Why do we have to be penalized for this?
Well, so I saw some debate. So I'm thinking that the punishment is going to be draft pick or picks. So it won't affect his pocketbook. And I saw some people upset about that, like Chicago for their scandal. It was money. It was a lot of money, but it wasn't anything that's going to hurt them on the ice. I think the difference there is the NHL will ding you for things that give you a competitive advantage, or you put teams at a unfair disadvantage. The Leafs were fined a 4th round pick, I think, because they illegally helped Jonas Frogren, of all people, get out of his contract in Sweden so that they could bring him to the NHL. The Arizona Coyotes illegally tested a bunch of players, did combine testing for draft prospects. They were fined draft picks because that's...
They were fined pretty significantly.
It was like a first and a second or something like that. It was pretty big. And now the Senators put the Vegas Golden Knights in a position, a competitive disadvantage due to their negligence. And it's not an insignificant thing, because if you remember, the Golden Knights missed the playoffs by like 1-2 points that year.
Yep.
If they're able to trade Dadonov,
They were trying to get somebody else in the door.
Yeah.
Right.
They wanted to free up the salary cap space.
they could have made the playoffs. And there's millions of dollars through the door if you're Vegas.
And Bill Foley likes to make money.
Right? So if I'm Vegas, I'm fat and happy because I won the Stanley Cup. But
still.
no, also still you guys screwed us there. So fuck you.
Another aspect of this that was reported in there is that this is also an aspect of pride and reputation building for Bill Foley specifically, because right now everybody has the reputation for the Vegas Golden Knights. Like, they treat players like shit. You know, that they're not afraid to get rid of guys, and they're willing to churn over their roster at the cost of winning. And they want to make it known that this incident with Dadonov wasn't our fault. We didn't. You can't add this to the list of the things you think about the Vegas Golden Knights. We did the right thing here, and they want to prove it through the Ottawa Senators being directly penalized for being at fault here and what happened.
And I'll own up to it. Like, you know, you get shows like ours who skewer you for that exact reason. But all the evidence in front of us said that it was Vegas's fault that this happened.
And they want to retract that. They want to say, hey, this wasn't our fault.
Yeah, and, you know, whoops.
I was
wrong, but we didn't know this information.
You probably could make the argument that Vegas would have, you know, if I'm Vegas, the argument I make to the NHL is I wouldn't have made the trade. Or
they wouldn't have.
Or I wouldn't have paid as much as I did.
Or that,
or I wouldn't have.
That wouldn't have acquired this player.
Yeah, because if I thought I couldn't trade him to certain teams, which have a ton of cap like the Ducks did, why get him?
Oh, you mean like the first time?
Yeah, like I wouldn't have bought it
Ottawa
that summer or whatever they paid. Maybe it was a 3rd round pick. I would have said to Ottawa, okay, now it's a 5th.
No, it was. I don't remember if it was straight up 1-for-1, but it was Dadonov going to the Golden Knights and Nick Holden going to the Sens. But, you know, you see that whole butterfly effect. Like, Dadonov should have never gone to Vegas. Holden should have never gone to Ottawa.
Well, Dadonov could have, because the list, Vegas was on the list of teams he could go to. It was a limited no trade.
Right, but what I'm saying is Vegas wouldn't have, or perhaps wouldn't have made the deal if they had known they weren't then able to flip him.
It was a 3rd round pick and Nick Holden that they sent to Ottawa in exchange for Dadonov, and Ottawa ended up drafting Elias Pettersson.
Yeah, well, and look at the difference in money on that deal. Vegas was taking on the far more expensive player in Dadonov and giving the Sens a far cheaper Nick Holden. If I'm Vegas, at minimum, I want my 3rd rounder back.
Right. So, yeah, you can make the argument saying, hey, if we knew Dadonov came with the no trade list, that 3rd round pick might have been like a 4th.
And Ottawa's already picked the guy.
Yeah. Well, they ended
Elias Pettersson. They got Elias Pettersson in return.
That 3rd round pick ended up going to Vancouver, who then selected the other Elias Pettersson. But yeah,
so the Sens made a subsequent deal.
Yeah.
Right?
There's some real big butterfly effects with this trade, because you don't know how they look at it if they think Dadonov has trade protection.
This is my bag. I got to do a trade tree on the trade that should have never happened.
Yeah.
You know what?
The reverse trade tree kind of thing.
That could be fun.
I think I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I think I might do that.
Yeah, undoing it. Yeah, I'm fascinated to see what the NHL does here. And I'm not. So here's what I'm curious about, though.
Also, the Shea Weber deal doesn't happen. Because Vegas then doesn't have Dadonov to give to Montreal in exchange for Shea Weber's contract. Shea Weber should still be in Montreal on LTI or somewhere else on LTIR.
This mistake from Ottawa cost the Vegas Golden Knights millions of dollars.
Oof.
Millions. Now, they don't give a shit because they won, but they also give a shit.
Yeah, I would give a shit. I'd still give a shit.
Yeah. And now Montreal has Gurianov, because then they used Dadonov and traded him to the Stars. There's so many layers here, and they really screwed up by not remembering to file that paperwork.
I'm so making.
So does the punishment?
Yeah, it's a great video. We're just doing this now. It's fantastic.
Great. This is great. So the punishment, though, is interesting because Vegas is owed something.
Yes.
Right.
Well,
so
I don't know that.
Well, I feel like Vegas would make that argument. Right?
I think you're right, but I think it might just be the Sens getting dinged.
And that's what I was going to ask: is what's fair here? Because obviously we don't. In our law system in North America, we don't do eye for an eye.
Right.
You fuck up, sorry, but you know the person gets punished. You don't get shit.
No,
right?
like you get money.
There is restitution, but I think
in a civil suit.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, in this particular case,
are
we just gonna have a?
Call
Natalie.
Yeah,
Natalie?
get the lawyer on.
Well, so
you're like, when I'm working, I get important shit to do. No. What I want to get out there before we jump into the next thing is what I don't understand is, if the NHL just dings Ottawa a 3rd, right? Let's just say it's a 3rd round pick. They have to give it up. And then we just have 31 players selected in the second.
Right.
I feel like Vegas ought to get something back for this.
So if
I agree.
I think the plan might be, let's say it's a 3rd round pick, like just for the sake of argument. the Sens get fined a third round pick. There's only 31 picks in that round, and just every team moves up. What, I don't know. What does that benefit? Why are all those teams between Ottawa and Vegas probably they're getting the benefit from this punishment to Ottawa?
Right, and
so, why?
and also why
including our rivals?
Why is the third pick? Or sorry, why is the first player selected in the third round a third rounder when he really should be a second rounder?
No.
Think about that. Because if you lose, the fourth round. So if you lose a pick in the third round, there's only 31 teams. The first pick of the fourth round is technically a third rounder.
So right. No, you're right. You're right.
Excuse me.
No, but
I want my contract.
We've done this before. Like you just brought up the Arizona Coyotes losing their first round pick in 2021. But
they didn't do that to anyone. They did it to themselves.
Right, but like the rest,
and that's the big.
But the guy who was selected 32nd that year, he doesn't get to like look at his resume and say I was a first round pick. No, you're a second round.
I'd be in the bar being I'm fucking first round pick.
Well, so
I would be in the bar too.
Fucking bullshit.
Yeah,
we should look up who that was.
Yeah, we should.
I want to say, didn't that happen with Jeremy Bracco and the Leafs? Like he was picked with a third round pick, but it was in the second round or something weird like that. I don't remember. But
you're asking us when you're sitting right there.
I know, my bad. If I'm Vegas, I know full well the NHL is probably planning on docking the Sens a pick, but I'm arguing that pick should go to us. We should get that pick. And honestly, I think they got a really good argument.
And to be honest, too,
I got an answer for you.
All right, give it to me.
So the way they do the pick forfeiting is that they still have that selection. It's just skipped.
That's so silly.
So the Coyotes in the 2021 draft, they were 32 picks, but only 31 guys were selected.
So
the 11th
who was the pick before it?
Tyler Boucher.
And he was
10th by the Ottawa Senators.
He was 10th, and then no one was picked 11th.
So pick 11
Sillinger
happens is blank. Somebody would have selected there, and then Cole Sillinger now becomes the 12th overall pick.
You know why they do that? I'm pretty sure. Because the higher you're picked, the easier it is that you can argue for like bonuses and stuff.
And Cole Sillinger is the 11th pick.
Yeah.
Matthew Coronado is the 12th pick.
Dude, that's nonsense.
That's so.
So yeah, you guys are saying that you think they should
100%.
Just keep the number that you're drafted at. I don't mind this way.
I don't like it because I feel like if you are a former second round pick, for whatever reason, people take you more seriously than if you're a former third round pick.
You know what happens is idiots like me have to do videos years down the line, and we go, "Why are there only 31 picks in this round? What the fuck?"
You missed one, Steve.
Yeah, this website made a mistake. NHL.com, fucking unusable bullshit. Oh no, they got to put this so that people like me don't fill the diapers. Well,
the NHL, if the NHL wants to take a glass of water, rather than lifting it to their lips, they like to wrap their arm around their head first and then try to drink it. That's just the way they do things sometimes. It's just, how do I make this as complicated as humanly... There you go, Steve. You got it. That's it. That's the NHL trying to figure this out. I hope that they do the right thing and Vegas gets its restitution.
So you think they should get a pick?
They should. They should get a third back.
Yeah. So the other things that I cited, the Leafs with the illegal Frogren signing... the Coyotes, the Leafs did that to themselves. The Coyotes did that to themselves. This is the first instance I can think of where one team's negligence directly affected another. Mm-hmm. That's a very fascinating one.
Just sidebar on this giving draft picks and like forfeiting them. The worst rule the NHL ever had was if you sign a coach, you got to give a draft pick.
And naturally,
do you remember how many times the Leafs got fucked on
Who did it fuck? The Leafs.
And Mike.
They had that deal. They had that rule in place for like what, a year or two?
It was like 2 seasons.
The Leafs lost a second and a third over that bullshit. The Oilers lost a second because they got Pete Chiarelli. Stupid.
Oh my God. One of the worst rules they had for like a second, and it just affected the
It also
twice.
just didn't make sense. Like, why have it?
No,
they're not under contract.
A guy wants a job at another team.
Yeah.
Like, let him go.
And he's not under contract. Like, Babs didn't make sense. He wasn't under contract. His contract had publicly expired. He's not a restricted free agent. He's a human. If he went and worked at Xerox, would they have had to give them something too?
Yes.
Like, this is ridiculous. By the way, I want to throw this out there. Breaking news. Toronto Marlies have signed Kiefer Bellows to a PTO. Who
Well,
played
that's
with the Flyers last year. He was, I think, according to Kyle Cushman, he had 3 goals in 27 games.
He's
going to help their power play.
I think he's a former first-round pick.
I think so, too. Might be good to just augment the team, and give them a little bit of toughness too. Like you saw the run that I forget the player, but somebody took a run at Robertson a couple games ago, or a couple weeks ago, I guess now, not a couple games ago. The AHL can be like 40 games in 2 weeks.
Yeah, the Marlies have some grit on them, but
I think
you could never have enough.
In the A, no.
Well, and also this is actually good. This is Brad Treliving and his management group. Oh my God, Purdy? I'm trying to remember the name of the Marlies GM. I suck. But this is Brad Treliving and his management group doing the same sort of things that
Ryan Hardy.
Sorry. Party, I think, is one of their ECHL coaches. He's doing one of the things that Dubas used to do, which is, all right, let's use the Toronto Marlies for projects. Kiefer Bellows, has that high-end pedigree. From years ago that has obviously fallen off. What's the likelihood that he has this huge resurgence and can become a regular NHL player again? It's not very high.
Yeah.
But it could happen, and the cost of signing him to the American Hockey League, especially when you have a team...
Well, it's a PTO. Nothing.
Yeah, who gives a shit? No, but I'm saying he'll probably get an AHL deal out of this that he will try to parlay into a NHL deal. If it works out, it works out.
It's found money.
This is it. Yeah, it's found money.
And every once in a while, and you got to keep trying for this, you get a Carter Verhaeghe.
Yeah. Or, people are going to groan, but Justin Hall.
Mm-hmm. Greg McKegg's another one that the Leafs kind of gave up on for Zach Hyman, but he played.
Yeah. He's put together a decent little pro hockey
Justin Hall, it's not like they gave up a ton to get him. It was just, it got annoying how much they used him. That was what...
Yeah. No, he was a former second-round pick who they got in the ECHL, did well in the AHL, parlayed it into an NHL deal, parlayed it into a regular NHL job, despite basically being held hostage by Mike Babcock for 71 games. He was healthy scratch 71 times in a season, and now he's a multi-million-dollar player. You know what? Justin Hull is actually a miracle. You know what? I'm cheering for him now.
And he's also...
I'm going to order a Hull jersey right now.
That's right. Okay, go ahead, Jess. What do you have? Did you have something?
No.
Oh, I thought you did. Sorry. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Let me just throw you under the bus like that.
Jesse,
yeah.
You do this.
I'm not gonna drop the puck. I didn't drop it.
Do the thing.
Now you're out of the face-off circle.
Hey, because I fucked with you. You thought you were playing against the other guys. No, you're also playing against me.
I'm part of the show. I'm a linesman.
Yeah. Watch me fake drop the puck. Whoa.
Give a big hand to me.
Yeah. The Leafs drop an annoying one in Nashville on Saturday. Now, listen, if you look at and I know what Steve's going to do. He's going to quote the Nick Alberga tweet from earlier, where they were 3-1-1 on the road trip. I get it.
Oh, someone wants
I get
LFR.
It. But let's be straight. If I told you that Ryan O'Reilly was going to score 2 goals, you would say, of course he is.
I'd say that's it.
I fucking hate when former players get one over on the Leafs. And the first goal is the thing that annoyed me, I think, the most.
It's a terrible goal.
And I love Sammy. He looked better. But he looked better after that goal.
He probably allowed 2 goals he shouldn't have.
That's why it's annoying. Listen, I'm over it. But for that to happen, and then for them to not even get the puck at all in overtime. Win the faceoff, or you can't. Nobody on this team could strip guys.
They've had 2 completely opposite overtimes this season. I don't remember who the first one was against, but they had the puck the whole time.
Was it down?
Tampa?
I don't remember.
Oh, it was Tampa.
Yeah, because John Tavares scored in overtime in Tampa.
Yeah,
and it was
Tampa.
Throwback.
Right.
And then
someone has a memory.
This one,
I know.
Thank God. Thank God for you, man. God, you are. What do we do before him?
I don't know.
Not even just on the show, just like as people. What did we do before Jesse? Nothing. Anyway, sorry. Keep it.
Be late for everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Just also be warm in our car.
Yeah, not pick him up.
Yeah.
You left me at the GO station.
So I just found that annoying. UC Saros was great.
He was fantastic.
Oh, he was different.
Amazing.
It's fun watching a goaltender who's better than everybody. You know, like
He
watching
is so good.
UC Saros play goal is a lot of fun.
Easily a top 5 most athletic goalie in the NHL, especially in this era where every goalie is like 6'3" minimum.
Yep.
Saros is like 5.
You compare
10?
Saros to somebody like Jake Ottinger, who's 7'5" in net. And
Yeah.
and UC Saros, who's 4'5", you
Yeah.
know, and he just the athleticism it takes for him to play goal the way he does is a marvel. It's fantastic.
I met Jake Ottinger. I thought he was going to grind my bones to make his bread.
It really
He's huge.
yeah,
It really does when the team in front of him isn't great. They're a grinding team, but they're not great. They're not high skill.
They're fine.
They're fine.
At least we're the better team.
But
Puck drop till the end of the game.
what I thought was same thing, Jesse. He looks just so much better than any other player on that team. And then I looked up his cap friendly. He's 28.
Oh, it's disgusting.
So this year and next year he's making 5.
Get
expect-
out of here.
The cap is expected to go up 3.5 for July 1st next year, and then 3.5 to 4 July 1st the next year. So on the low end 6, on the high end 8. What's UC Saros' next contract look like after games like that?
I mean,
I can't imagine he's not the highest paid.
every contract is just a bet. It's either the team making a bet on you or you making a bet on yourself or something like that. Everyone who signed a contract that is expiring, how old is he going to be?
He's going to be 30.
Everyone
And a
who
goalie.
signed a contract that expires when they're like 29, 30 screwed themselves.
Yeah, it's got to be like 26 to 28, doesn't it?
Saros should be making like 8, 9, 10, something like that, with the cap going up
Right.
for how good he is. But like, no one's going to do that. Like, especially, you know who I'm sending a glitter bomb to if I'm UC Saros?
Who?
Connor Hellebuck. Thanks for signing that deal, asshole. Pff. That's, dude.
Why?
Because what was the amount of money he signed for?
7.5. It was identical contracts. Him and Scheifele. It's like 7 or 7.5.
Yeah. And we're all like, oh my God, he's gonna get like Bobrovsky money. And then he decided, no, actually, I want to take a discount to play forever in Winnipeg.
He likes it there.
Which, no, good for him. I'm just saying it's not what any of us expected.
it was
No.
8.5.
Oh, it was 8.5? What's
Yeah.
Scheifele?
Oh, I think
Scheifele's
Scheifele's 8.5 too.
Yeah, they signed identical
I don't know
deals,
why I thought
right?
7.
You know
Two
what?
8.5.
It's not like if Saros goes into negotiations asking for that, I don't think he's too upset with that, or Nashville is too upset with that. Certainly Nashville wouldn't be too upset with that. But with what we're assuming is going to happen to player salaries, like what Matthews is now getting or going to get next year, with what we assume like Draisaitl's next contract is going to be.
Oh my God.
And McKinnon. I mean, sorry, not McKinnon. Although he's going up to McDavid. Like goalies are just like, who's going to be the next super high paid goalie in this league?
Well, I think you're going to have 2 or 3 goalies who are the best goalies who make a pile.
yeah.
Like I'm seeing this go back to the 90s where there was 3 or 4 great goalies, and then there was everybody else. And
Guys like Jeff Hackett.
Yeah.
Who you knew could give you quality starts like night in and night out, but were not the elite of the elite.
So you had Waugh, you had Brodeur, and I think
Hasek
was the third. And then occasionally you'd have a fourth. You'd have a Belfour, you'd have a Cujo who have a couple good years.
Belfour was great.
Belfour had an incredible career and no one ever talks about. But and a Stanley Cup winner too. But
he's like one of the best goalies ever, and was probably never in the top 3 like consistently, just because of the era he played in.
and I think what'll be interesting is, okay, so Bobrovsky's going to make $10 million till the end of time. But Carey Price is making $10 million, but he's not going to play anymore. Who are going to be? Somebody's got to crack 10. Somebody's got to crack 10.
It's interesting when you look at around the league of the top goaltenders and when they expire. Sorokin, as much as we like to ageist Lou, I think he did a great job with that deal.
There's a good candidate.
8.25 till forever. Like he's got him locked up, so that's great.
Really good deal. Less than Hellebuck signed for.
Yep, less than Hellebuck, so great job by Lou there. Shesterkin is up in 2 years.
That'll be interesting.
So that might be a hefty deal. He'll still be under 30 when that contract expires. I think he'll be 29. He's 27 now. Jake Ottinger, who's up in 2 years as well, is still an RFA. At the end of that deal, he'll be 26 and not eligible for free agency. But that could be a hefty price because you're buying all of his prime free agency years. So there, we could see the next, I don't know, $10 million goaltender possibly in Dallas.
Sorokin's going to play a ton. Shesterkin's going to play a ton. Ottinger's not.
Yeah, because they found that balancing his workload during the regular season is probably the best way to keep him fresh for the playoffs.
Yeah, I maybe goalies just, they're not built to take double digits. Like, it doesn't help that only 2 goalies have ever done it, and neither has really worked out. I know Bobrovsky just carried a team to the Stanley Cup final, and Carey Price did the same. But Carey Price is now on LTIR, and we always knew that was a risk. And I wouldn't be surprised if the same happened to Bob. And like, let's not forget that even though he's been good recently, Bob sucked.
You don't
for a lot of that deal.
You don't pay $10 million for your goaltender to lose his job multiple times over the course of that contract.
Multiple times to multiple people.
Yep.
By the way,
guys who were just picked off of nowhere.
If Spencer Knight was still with the Florida Panthers to begin the playoffs last year, Bob would have been their 3rd goalie. He would have been their 3rd goalie.
Like, if I told you Alex Lyon performed better than Sergei Bobrovsky, you'd be like, that's a disaster.
You'd be like, oh, he's like, I guess he's retiring then.
right.
So then he was the best goalie.
I don't know if you guys like knew about the story that happened in like September and August-ish with NFL running backs, where a lot of them were just complaining about the deals that they were getting because the NFL figured out and the general managers figured out that it's not a good way to work the salary cap to pay running backs.
Yes.
So no NFL running backs are getting any kind of money. And I wonder if NHL GMs are going to look at the goaltender position and say, we don't need to throw double-digit numbers at goaltenders anymore.
Well,
we can piecemeal this together with $3-4 million guys.
And UC will be 30, right? So you have to expect that there will be a downside to that contract, which could keep the number down overall. Because you expect, I bet the Jets expect Connor Hellebuck to be a $10 million goaltender for the next 2 to 3 years. And then probably, years 4 and 5 and 6, he was probably a $7 or $8 million. And then maybe in the last few years, he's a backup. You don't know, right? You just don't know where it's going to go. And I think UC specifically could ask for the sun and the moon, but he does get to play in Nashville, which is pretty sweet. And he will be 30. If he was 28, if this was his season, he would be banking $80 million this offseason if Nashville had to re-sign him. He'd be a $10 million goaltender.
Here's something else I'm trying to figure out. When was the last time like a big free agent goalie worked out? Jack Campbell? Woof. Markstrom.
Had one good year.
And then last year. I'm trying to
His
think
first year in Calgary wasn't good either, if you remember.
Darcy Kemper.
Well, I think that a lot of guys have thrown money at goalies that didn't deserve it. You look at Jack Campbell, he had a good month in Toronto, and he got a 5-year or 4-year deal worth $5 million, whatever it was.
Five.
So he got a 5 over 5
Yeah.
for one good month in Toronto in that previous year. Okay, because with goaltending, more than any other position, it's what have you done for me lately? You have to look at that.
Yep.
Darcy Kemper was coming off winning a Stanley Cup, and the Caps, for whatever reason, just felt like, why don't we blow everything we've done out the window and sign that guy?
Even like, do you think around the NHL they're looking at Aiden Hill's deal and going, that's great?
I don't know. I don't know how they view it.
Now he won a cup. I'm not saying he's a bad goalie, but like,
right? I think.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, he's like a tandem goalie with Logan Thompson, who makes less than $1 million.
Yeah,
and he's arguably the second best.
Yeah. So, but like, since he won the Stanley Cup, I think that would be evidence for the other general manager to look at it and say, like, we don't need to pay goalies because we can win the Stanley Cup with Aiden Hill.
And Aiden Hill makes less than 5.
No, but then, so he was valuable to them when he wasn't making much, and then they're like, oh, well, here's a big old bunch of money. You know what I mean? Goalies are valuable to you when they're cheap, is what I'm saying.
And I think, you can get a whole bunch of cheap goalies.
Right.
Yeah, so you should go that route.
I think we're saying the same thing, but I'm so tired that I'm not totally sure. I'm not totally sure.
The point is that somebody is gonna crack 10 again sometime. Just a question of when.
They're gonna
especially
have to
with
be
the
elite.
cap going up.
Yeah, they're gonna have to be elite.
And who are the top 3 goalies in the NHL right now? Because you would say Vasilevsky, but you don't know this year because he hasn't played.
Shesterkin, but even he's not coming off.
UC's got to be one of them.
UC Saros is probably at least top 5. Ilya Sorokin.
Yeah, he's been amazing.
Joseph Woll.
Can I give you my top 3?
Give it to me.
I got Sorokin, Saros, and Ottinger.
Wow.
And I'm doing Shesterkin, Hellebuck, Vasilevsky. I think I did this at the beginning of the season.
Wait, what did you just do?
So the second tier.
Sorokin, Saros, Ottinger,
That's your top 3 goalies?
Shesterkin, Hellebuck, Vasilevsky.
So
that's
what's that?
6.
Oh, you're doing your top 6.
I think that's the collection of top 6. What's yours?
Yeah, that was good.
What's yours?
No, like legit, that was good.
I don't know how to disagree with that. Those are pretty on par.
Yeah,
right?
but
Those are good.
is that the correct ranking? I don't know.
Sorokin has been low-key extremely good with the Islanders, and it's a shame that the team in front of him can't score a goal. That's been the problem.
They've been okay.
They've been okay this year,
Hey,
but it's been 9 games.
Expected goals God, Pierre Engvall.
That's right.
Love it.
He is killing it.
Oh,
He was
good for
killing
him.
it last year with the expected goals game too.
Good for him.
I think Shesterkin is one that I say is like, if there's a tier 1 and a tier 2, he's right now in the middle, and he shouldn't be. Like that. I want to see lights out, can't score ever on Shesterkin. That guy come back.
There are also I saw some funny Jonas Korpisalo discourse. Like he's like a top 5 goalie in the NHL when his team gets shelled.
What?
Like if he has a normal workload, he's mid.
But if you get 50 shots,
if you get 50 shots, you can guarantee stopping 48
he's
of them.
playing in the right place then.
Like, yeah, exactly. Yes.
Perfect.
No, yeah, you're not wrong. He's someone, oh man, I'm trying to remember who it was. But like the Sens just had a ceremony for Craig Anderson, and they replaced Craig Anderson with Finnish Craig Anderson. Craig Anderson, if you got 50 shots on him, was unbeatable.
Mm-hmm.
If you got 27, you're scoring 3.
It's a good point.
It was the weirdest. He was a very strange goalie in that regard.
He was.
Reimer was like
hated
that.
Craig Anderson.
Yeah, Reimer
Every
was like that.
Every time he played the Leafs,
Oh,
fucking Craig Anderson.
Brutal. Well, Reimer, if the Leafs only gave up 23 shots, would be mid. If you gave up 45, he's Vezina candidate.
100%. Hey, how's he doing in Detroit, by the way?
I think he's played like 2 games.
Okay.
I still don't understand what they're doing there.
On a sadder note, a very sad note, Adam Johnson passed away. And this is unfortunate. What happened was it was a skate blade accident to the neck, and he was playing over in England, and he played some games with the Pittsburgh Penguins. And by all accounts, and Michael Russo did a really great write-up in The Athletic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to focus on. Here's the thing that bothers me with stuff like this. Is it becomes like who's got the hottest take on how this guy died, which is happening right now on Twitter. And it is a freak accident, and you don't need to have a take on this other than, holy shit, that's sad.
Yeah.
And you can do right by the player by reading up on the great things about this person. And every single teammate, everybody who's quoted in this article, everybody that was a former teammate of his that had something to say or that knew him, they all said great things about this person.
That's something that I think is actually a more significant factor in the NHL this week than people realize. There are a lot of people who play in your favorite league whose friend died. Just a day or two.
It's a small community, right?
Yeah, Michael Russo, I think the article you're talking about, he interviewed Zach Aston Reese and Sam Lafferty, who assisted.
Bill Guerin as well.
Well, there you go.
He was his GM in Wilkes-Barre.
That's right. And Sam Lafferty and Zach Aston Reese assisted on his NHL goal, right? I reached out to Frank Corrado, who played with him as well. Like, there's a ton of guys.
Matt Collins, Sam Lafferty, like there's tons of people that are quoted in this.
He played with a lot of people, and it sounded like he was an excellent person, positive to be around and everything. There's a lot of people right now who are hurting.
Yeah, and he went to the University of Minnesota Duluth, and Russo mentions that too. And that's such a huge hockey place.
Yeah.
Like they love their hockey, and he was a really good player there. And just that entire community is feeling it right now because he was a strong part of it.
I was sent the video. I haven't watched it. I accidentally stumbled upon a photo, like a still from the video, and that was
I can't.
That was enough for me.
can't do
I was
that.
like, okay, I don't need to actually see this.
I don't need to see any of that.
Yeah.
Anyone unfortunate enough to have grown up with basically unmonitored internet access has probably seen the Clint Malarchuk video, which I've seen. And without getting too graphic, basically the only reason he survived is I want to say the Sabres trainer was like a combat veteran, like a combat medic.
Wow.
And without getting too graphic, once again, knew how to
Fix that. Stop
deal
that.
with, like more than again, I don't want to get into.
Yes, we know that you want to get into too graphic detail, but the guy was trained in a very specific way, right?
Yes, yeah.
To make sure that that somebody could survive a wound like that, and it's very specific training because where else would you get a wound like that?
Well, and I'm not saying the person on what was it, the Nottingham Panthers?
Yeah,
I'm not saying they didn't have that training. They may or may not have. I mean, no one can prepare you.
I doubt.
And even if you do have the training, it might not be enough.
I doubt very many NHL trainers have that kind of training, right? It's
exactly.
And so I think what this comes down to, what's going to create, and do you remember Richard Zednick?
Yes, I do.
Yep.
He had his carotid artery cut.
Yep.
That's right. And when that happened, there was a whole conversation about neck guards. And one of the things I can remember Don Cherry saying was, what the hell, why won't these guys wear this?
That's Don Cherry.
That's
saying
Don Cherry's like, I don't understand. It's a piece of fabric. What's the matter?
Like like Scott Wheeler highlighted that there were a bunch of people who were like, oh, what's next? Let's just bubble wrap everybody. All right, like that's just the fringe of the fringe. Like you got Don Cherry going, dude.
Yeah.
You gotta like a.
It doesn't.
He
have
made
to
a
be...
career out of being manly man.
Yeah.
Like you got to protect your neck.
And I wondered with the neck guards, like the traditional ones that we wore were clunky and fat and whatever. But what you can now do is like the stuff they wear under, the Under Armour stuff that's literally like spray painted to their bodies, right? That's suction cup. Yeah. That a lot of that time that stuff has like Kevlar in it, so you can't put escape blade through it. Mm-hmm. What if you were to just extend that up so we have an NHL version of the Thomas Planet's turtleneck, but it's not thick. It's just a wrap, and it goes around part of the neck.
Yeah, there's a great company I want to shout out. They're AEGIS Impact Protection, and they make like the highest, best grade neck guards. And they have a neck guard one that's just like the traditional one that goes around your neck. And they also have the exact what you're talking about. They call it the Inceptor bib. It protects the shoulders and just kind of sits there as like a little mock turtleneck. And for them specifically, I want to shout them out because they protect against the slashes. Like the 90-degree slash of a skate against the neck that can turn out to be fatal. And a lot of the neck guards, they add a layer of protection, but they're like foam. And if a skate really wants to get in there, it can. But these guys do great work to protect against the actual slashes of a very sharp knife against your neck. And they're working with NHL players like Evander Kane, who had his wrist slashed last season and missed multiple months due to the surgery from that. They're working with players to get the best protective gear out there.
TJ Oshie has a company as well, I saw. So, something I remember. Remember when Dion Phaneuf had his thigh slashed by a skate when he was with the Leafs? So we went to I was working with Nike at the time, and we went to some sort of Team Canada event. I can't remember. Zach Cassian was there. Braden Shen was there. And they were all like showing off and talking about their new like Kevlar stuff, like on their wrists and on their legs. And it was relatively new. And if it wasn't new, like not everyone really used it, but that sort of, woke people up like, oh, I should wear this stuff. I should protect myself. And never at any point, like, was the neck even really part of the conversation, So can we prevent any and every bad thing from happening? No, but it's reasonable, isn't it?
You can make it a lot less likely to happen.
It's reasonable to wear neck protection.
Yeah, it makes me so upset because it seems so simple. It's like putting on a helmet when you're playing hockey. Like for decades, the helmets weren't required until halfway through the last century. Like goalies didn't wear masks, and you can just wear a helmet and protect your brain.
The shots weren't as hard. And they
they're hard enough.
They didn't go high for sure. And listen, missing teeth back in the day was a little bit more like when they didn't wear masks because a lot of them were like World War II vets, right? They weren't afraid of much. Okay. But I'm backing you up here, Jesse.
Yes.
As we continued through and we had this debate 20 years ago with Zednick, people were like, I don't like it. It's uncomfortable.
It was a lot more recent than that.
What's so funny about it to me is you have one player on the ice who will do anything they can to protect themselves, and then you got 5 players on the ice who will do nothing unless you force it. The goalies, if you let them put like whatever the goalies can add to their repertoire, they'll do. Players, it's like, no, fuck it. I couldn't stand having a hot neck while I played. So I hope at very least, there's some consideration for this, and I understand the whole idea of like, you're playing a 60-minute game. It's super sweaty. Maybe they get this breathable material that's super light. They're doing crazy shit with materials right now that they couldn't do 5 years ago. I'm sure they can figure this out.
There's got to be like some sort of comfort to protection factor, and that's what I'm getting. So like I posted a tweet. I was like, listen, if you don't play with a neck guard, like I'm earnestly asking why. And the answer was loud and clear. It's a comfort thing. But listen, I bet you'll skate faster without a cup. I bet. You won't have it impeding you. You won't be as hot. You might take a puck to the nuts, but you're willing to take that risk, right? For the boys?
No.
No, you're not.
Because you use that for fun stuff.
That too.
Yeah, same with your eyes and your neck.
Yeah. No, I consider my neck actually to be quite fun.
I do too. But not everybody
and
does.
your brain.
Yes, like we got to wake up here, and like I don't have it either. And I'm at risk, like, because I'm not a good skater. I could fall down at any moment. Someone who's a good skater, you never know.
And it does rarely happen, but for the times that it does,
yeah. And it's
worth having the protection.
But for me personally, as like a beer league guy, not even like it's not even a matter of I don't wear it. Like I don't even own it. Like so I got to buy this like today because I don't know. I'm sort of sitting there like, what am I doing? I accidentally, I've told this story before, but I accidentally played hockey without a cup once because I didn't pack it. And there was a guy who was like, "Oh, I never play with one." I was like, "You're nuts." Like that was the most uncomfortable.
You're
game
nuts.
It was the most uncomfortable game I've ever played because I just felt so unprotected.
Yeah.
It's like we got to protect our necks.
The easiest parallel is the visors. The longest complaint about all these guys, I could never play with a visor. And in 2013, it's really recently. And if you watch the Leafs on Saturday night, Ryan O'Reilly scored 2 goals without a visor on. He's one of the old players who's still grandfathered in and chooses not to wear a visor. And eventually the whole league is going to wear visors because it makes sense.
Yeah, Ryan Reeves doesn't wear one either.
Ryan Reeves doesn't wear one. Yeah, if you watch any Leafs game, Ryan Reeves is out there. But eventually everybody's going to wear it. And you have to protect hockey players from themselves. Because if you give them the choice to do the thing that they're used to and not have this protection, they're going to take it because they believe things like my vision's better if I don't have the visor on and everything. So you have to, somebody in upper management has to take the onus out of the hockey players and say, hey, you have to protect yourself and implement these neck guards because it just makes sense. If you can prevent just these things from happening less frequently, and just because the material is there, you don't have to invent something new. We already have it. Just why isn't there a mandate?
It just seems like obvious, but these things take time.
I mean,
I'm sure the PA will step up and say, no, NHL, please. Please don't make our players uncomfortable.
Marty Walsh, get on them.
They're different now. They are a little bit different now.
The Providence Bruins in their game yesterday, I think, came out. A lot of them were wearing neck guards. I think there's going to be a shift here. I think people are going to.
Yeah, and I think if this happens and it's only in print, like you can't see it. It's in print journalism, like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when people didn't have wide access to the internet. I think people ignore it. But I think now that you could see it in full HD, it has a different effect.
Yeah, I'm never gonna watch it.
Yeah, something that happens in Sheffield, is now a global international story.
100%.
It's a lot different environment.
One last story I'd like to hit before we go to the press conference, and this is just a quick one, is the NBA has come out and recognized that they have an issue finding a young audience. Now, if the NBA is saying this, that should be a big old warning sign for hockey. And they said the reason is cord cutting. Adam Silver said, we recognize that in some ways the decline of cable has disproportionately affected the NBA. Our young audience isn't subscribing to cable, and those fans aren't finding our games. Now, their goal, this is the difference between the NBA and the NHL, okay? The NBA's goal for their next set of domestic media rights, they want to make $75 billion.
Wow.
Billion.
What's the NHL's American deal?
It's split between ESPN and TNT. I can tell you in half a second.
Yeah.
Because the Canadian one, it's like not even $1 billion a year, right?
No, it's 500.
I was trying to.
We've talked. The reason I wanted to talk about this is you're seeing teams like the Vegas Golden Knights copy teams like the Utah Jazz and the Suns. And the Suns were the ones sending out, hey, if you want an over-the-air bunny ears transmission tower for your house, just email us and we'll get you one. And you can watch 79 of our games or something like that. The Utah Jazz have done something similar. What Adam Silver said is there are still roughly $65 million homes in America that view sports in a traditional way. And he said one of the things that they want to focus on is allowing fans to come to one place to find games. And what did he cite? What do you think he cited?
What did he cite?
He cited the NFL buying Thursday night or having Thursday night bought by Amazon. So essentially, if you don't watch football, which I know you don't, Thursday night,
I know
you can only watch it on Prime. That's Prime night.
Except in Canada.
Except in Canada.
We got it here.
Yeah. So what they're probably going to do, and I keep swearing up and down that this is going to happen to hockey too once they get smart, is they want you to be able to go to one subscription service, pay the subscription, watch the game. No matter where you are.
Man, that's nuts.
No matter what you're doing.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
The NHL deal, by the way, is $400 million every year from Disney for 7 years.
It's less than the Canadian one?
Yeah,
Still?
$400 million a year.
Well, it's
because they
also-
have like less games.
It's
right?
less games, yeah.
Oh.
Because the TNT deal included in that. I think the TNT was at 250 or 300 million.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. So it
is more.
like 600.
Yeah, Rogers is exclusive in Canada, whereas ESPN isn't.
Yeah, what's Rogers per year?
They are, so it was 12 billion, or sorry, 12 billion, 4 billion over 12 years.
I think it was 5.2 billion.
Or 5, oh no, yeah, 4 billion was Star Wars.
Yeah, Rogers could have bought Star Wars.
Rogers could have bought Star Wars, yeah.
Holy shit.
And the thing was, the way they structured the deal was in the first year, because Rogers was just supposed to be getting their footing, they only had to pay 200 million American. And so later on in the deal, that number goes up. So they might be in the $600 or $700 million per year.
What's the average? What's the
The average would be 300 million? Because it's 4 divided by 12, so I think it's 300 million.
They grossly overestimated Canadians' desire to watch like a Thursday night Flyers-Rangers game.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, okay, that's a great game, but like most people aren't going to watch that.
And the funny thing about it is, predating that, what could you do with the NHL app?
What could you do?
Center ice. Do you remember NHL Center ice?
I don't think I used it very much.
Okay, so I had it, and you could watch any game anywhere. Mm-hmm. And
was that too good? Is that why they got rid of it?
When they took it, when Rogers took it, it still existed for a couple more years, and then they were like, no, let's just have it all in the Sportsnet app.
Okay.
But NHL Center Ice did all this 10 years ago.
They went backwards.
All the stuff that they're going to move to, the NHL had it, and they had it on their own platform. And all they had to do was stick with it, man. It's crazy.
I think
whoever had that idea was really smart.
I think a big part of this, and this has always been a sticking point for me, it's not about one company, it's every company, is there was this tremendous resistance to the digital age. There was this tremendous resistance to all things internet. It's still going on today. We'll go into meetings and people will be like, so what's a podcast? And it's like, you're not qualified to work in media. You're not. Quit your job, find something else to do. You're not qualified to talk about media. It's 2023. You don't know what a podcast is?
Or how it's measured.
Retire, go to the beach. Mm-hmm. Retire and go to the beach, please. Like, I'm so sick of this. Like, I saw some people, there was one commenter in particular who is older, and they're like, well, I'm older and, I know how to work this and work that. You're the exception to the rule. And it's unfortunate. Believe me, I wish it weren't true. Anyway, sorry, I'm extremely tired. But what happened is the future came. Mm-hmm. And these companies weren't prepared for the fucking future because they resisted it for the better part of a decade.
Yep.
And weirdly, the majority of the products we have now stink.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody.
It happened in the record industry too, but where the record industry got smart, because they were the first ones to go, right? They were the first ones that went down. Music being downloaded illegally or for free or whatever you want to classify it. Somebody came to them with a great idea. And one of the record reps in Sweden, a guy named Per Sundin, pushed it with Universal Music, and now we have Spotify. It was Daniel Ek or whatever his name is, the guy that came up with Spotify. That idea saved the record industry.
Well, and like people are stealing music. That's bad, and we should stop it. Like, yes,
By forcing them to do the thing that you've always forced them to do, rather than coming up with something new.
Well, exactly. Like, instead of listen, I don't resent the flaw, or I don't resent the logic. Like, they're stealing it. We should stop them from stealing it. But forward thinking would be, this is the future and we cannot stop it. How do we adapt? Mm-hmm. And the ones who adapted survived. The ones who didn't are out of business. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Dude, I've been talking about this shit since like 2007, 2008. We're all watching. You only need one device to watch everything.
Yeah.
But like, I'm still remembering like, oh no, you need like a TiVo box, and you need this, and you need that, and you need all of this bullshit to watch all the things you wanted to watch. Dude, make it easy. Mm-hmm. Make it easy. Like, I know we don't really talk about him anymore, but Louis C.K., when he had a comedy special years ago where there was going to be all this bullshit and this person gets a piece of the pie, this person gets a piece of the... No, I'm just going to produce it myself. I'm going to put it on a website and it's going to cost $5. And he literally goes, yes, you can steal it, but please don't. And most people didn't because it was only $5. Like, you'd be surprised how actually open and honest people are if you just make something cheap and easy. And unfortunately, big telecoms across the world have made it fucking impossible to consume
and expensive
anything.
Yeah.
Impossible and expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
How often do you get an email from one of your subscription services that just goes, hey, your shit's jacked. We're jacking up your shit. Sorry. But also, like, what are you going to do about it? Like,
the South Park.
Fucking loser. Oh, no. You can't. Oh, that's terrible.
Anyway, let's do the press conference. Jesse Blake.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
All right, first question comes from Mr. S. Barahani.
Hey. Oh.
Our NBA reporter asks us, do you think there are more wheels in the world or doors?
So, like, do wheels on, like, toy cars count?
Yes, every wheel or every door.
It's got to be wheels.
It has to be wheels.
I'm going to throw in windows.
Okay,
now,
but
what are you saying? Windows are doors?
Windows, doors, or wheels? Rank them.
And that's 3 categories or 2?
Which one has the most in the world?
and windows and doors are separate.
Yes. Like a window
Then
on
I would
a
say
door.
windows, wheels, doors.
I would say I'm still saying wheels. I think wheels, windows, doors.
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
No,
No, I think windows.
I think
first.
windows. Because
Think
of
there's
like
more windows?
Yeah, because like a condo.
Think of
you
a
gotta
condo,
think.
yeah. And you see,
Yeah, but
here's the
like
thing.
think of how many doors are in your condo.
It's a lot of doors. Here's okay. My thing with windows is that there's rarely one, right?
Yeah.
There's and with wheels, there's rarely one. You don't usually have one wheel unless it's a wheelbarrow by itself. A
I
singular.
think doors got to be last, right?
I think it has to be.
Yeah.
So like every car, like people talk about the 4 wheels on a car.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't your steering wheel?
Yep.
Does that count as a wheel?
No. A steering wheel.
It's called a steering wheel.
No, we're talking about the traditional like wheel that would be on a ground.
Now,
What about cheese?
See, no. You're expanding.
wheel of cheese?
You're expanding the word wheel, but no. We're talking about the traditional wheel that is perpetually in motion
Words
to
matter.
wheel something.
now,
Words matter.
okay. So let me ask you this, okay?
I don't know if I used the word perpetually in
So
motion correctly.
I had to. My very old Mustang was so hot in the summertime, boiling hot because it's an old engine and it's summer, and you can put the top down, but you're boiling hot. So I had to put an air conditioning unit in it, which meant that I needed to put a whole new piece on the front of the engine, with the timing belts, right? Because I had to have 2 timing belts now instead of 1. Are the things on the engine that run the timing belt wheels? Because I feel like they should be.
Yeah, I feel like they should be as well. Yeah, I feel like those are wheels. I feel like every little like piece of equipment that requires like a wheel spinning to run is a wheel.
I think it's wheels by a mile.
Has
Wheels
to be.
by a mile.
No, but windows.
Nah.
Oh, but if you go downtown and you see one skyscraper.
Yeah.
And it's got like how many panes of window?
Every single one of those panes where it's cut is a window. How many there's so many condos in the world.
Okay. Whoa. I'm about to break this right now. If you're thinking cars actually have more windows than wheels.
Yep, they're 5.
That's what I'm saying.
If windshield, window, rear view.
Yeah.
Minimum.
There's 6.
Yeah,
minimum.
a regular 4-door car has 6 windows.
On my truck, you can make the argument that there's 7 because it's got a sliding little window.
Yep.
That I can open it. That's automatic and a little slide. Pickup trucks have that.
I'm still saying wheels.
I think you're wrong. I think it's windows.
I think it's windows too.
Kiss my bottom.
Because if you do, what's that? Sunroof.
Sunroof.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of rare.
Does your Mazda have a sunroof?
No.
It doesn't?
No.
You should cut one. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just like with a hammer?
Yeah.
Just-
No, with a sharp knife. Jaws of life.
Too easy.
Adam, what's your official pick?
I'm going to say windows, wheels, and doors.
Steve?
Wheels, windows, doors.
And I got the same one as Adam. All right. On Sunday. On Sunday, the Milwaukee Bucks played a basketball game in Milwaukee. Before the game, the Milwaukee Bucks had Flava Flav perform the national anthem. I think it'd be fun if we all sat here and watched Flava.
Are we
Flav.
allowed to run this?
Jesse,
Oh, yeah.
This is 3 minutes long.
And you'll see why it's 3 minutes
You're
long.
gonna Steve,
No.
you'll get to the end and you'll think it's over.
Here is Flava Flav performing the national anthem at the Milwaukee Bucks game.
By 6-time Grammy Award nominated rapper and artist Flava Flav.
I'm never forgiving Wisconsin for this.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
He's doing okay.
Oh, yeah.
What so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes
Does Twitter do videos this long?
and bright stars
Hit that fucking note.
through the perilous fight.
The snapping he's doing isn't
For
helping.
the ramparts we watch.
Okay, he's getting worse as it goes.
We're so gallant.
Look at the players.
All right. Now here's the high note. Here's the high note.
Oh no.
And
Oh, no.
the rocket's red glare.
Okay, all right.
Could've gone worse. Could've gone worse.
Bombers stinging there gave proof to the night.
That's the wrong lyric.
That our flag was
The girl in the back?
still there.
He is going fucking
Oh,
off script.
say, does that star spangled banner yet wave?
Oh shit! It all comes down to this.
Come on.
Or the land of the free.
Not bad. Not bad. Not
And
great either.
the home
Of what?
of the
Tell 'em!
brave, of the brave.
Oh my God. I told you you'd think it was over.
The brave.
Yeah, they shut off his
And then
mic.
they cut his mic.
Now, I told you thought it would be over, but it's not. Now, okay. All right, if we were going to do...
Fuck you guys for making
If we were going to do a
bad friends.
a March Madness bad anthems, I think he and Fergie hit the top.
Fergie wins.
You think
Oh,
Fergie beats him?
Fergie wins.
Dude, I saw that debate. His anthem kicks Fergie's ass.
Yeah.
That's Adele compared to Fergie. Like,
The Fergie that Fergie anthem was
It's
remember
all
when they-
time.
it's the
Remember-
worst thing
Remember
ever.
they tried to spin it though? They were like, oh, it was just her trying something new. It's like it's the anthem. It's sung one way.
I think you're thinking of
What do you-
Nelly Furtado.
Oh, she did one too. That was so bad.
Yeah, no one enjoyed it.
No, but Fergie did one.
Yeah, no, it was fucking awful.
yeah.
Okay, here's the difference. Flava Flav does not judge singing competitions. Or does he? There's a lot of shows out there that I don't watch. So, and you watch them all. Or at least know of them.
Well, he did the Flavor of Love, like where he was dating and stuff like that.
That's
by the way,
that's very different.
I did find it sort of funny that they're like, well, 6-time Grammy nominated guy, whatever. Flavor Flav is beloved, but Chuck D is sort of the brains behind Public Enemy, is he not?
Well, also,
Yeah, but Flavor Flav's made him the most famous.
Yeah, you're
He made
right.
himself the most famous.
And you know what?
ever.
He stepped up there and he gave it. He knew he stunk,
Yeah.
but he gave it.
just because you have Grammys and nominations doesn't mean you're good at singing. Like, you'd never be like, oh, he sold this many albums and performed to millions worldwide singing our national anthem, Slash.
Yeah.
Like, you would never have that.
Yeah. No, it's a good point.
So Flavor Flav tweeted after the anthem went viral. He said, "The anthem was a long-time bucket list item. That was
Double
fun.
entendre?
I can't live my life worried about what people might say about me. I won't let that stop me from trying new things and doing things I want to do. Some people might not like that, but a sure failure is if you stop trying."
Can't hate that.
Yeah,
won't hate
although I will say that his clocks have gotten smaller as he's gotten older.
Well, I mean, you get neck pain.
Yeah, you gotta ease into old age a little.
No, I got that. That makes sense.
Jesse, do you have anything else that you want to bring?
We got lots of questions.
Dude, before the show, you're like, oh, yeah, we got to do a press conference. And then you do, what was that, 10 minutes on Flava Flav?
Well, it was a long anthem. Long.
I know, I heard it. I wish I hadn't.
This one was from Carolyn Miller. Did you guys revisit your opinion on the Oilers Heritage Classic look? I thought they looked really good on TV.
No.
No, we hated on the jersey. Was that ribbon thing?
No, I liked the jersey. I didn't like the brown pants and gloves. And I will say it looked better outside. It looked better outside. It always does. I still would have tried something else, but no, it looked good. It wasn't bad enough that it was worth complaining about.
If you
And
like
those
it,
jerseys
I didn't
were
really- that was
those
not good
jerseys
to know.
were unreal.
if you like it, good for you. Those jerseys were not for me. I just didn't think they were very
neither.
good. And I know that they were based on another team's jerseys from the 50s, and I would say that those teams' jerseys were also not good.
They tried something, whereas the Flames were like, "Hey, you know how we have a cool logo? Let's make it boring."
Yeah.
I wasn't really into it.
Yeah, and at least it meant something, right?
Both were kind of mediocre. This from Elise. Do you think the NHL dropped the ball promoting outdoor games? Seeing a lot of people saying they didn't realize when the Heritage Classic was going to be.
I disagree with this one in particular because I will say this is one of the only outdoor games in recent memory I can think of where I actually knew when it was going to be. I feel like this one was promoted quite a bit
In Canada.
in Canada. Yeah, but like that's who's watching it, right?
And that's why. I think probably...
Guys, are we getting enough promo on this in Wyoming?
Yeah, like I don't know if that ESPN or TNT would have cared as much as two Canadian teams going head to head. This is a Sportsnet event. I saw plenty of promotion from Sportsnet on it.
Yep.
So at very least, they didn't drop the ball.
But they'll be like, oh yeah, it'll be 2 p.m. and there'll be an outdoor game between like the Penguins and Flyers starting in an hour, and I'm like, what?
A lot of it too is if you think it's not promoted enough, these are local events is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Like
And it was a huge deal there.
the All-Star game, outdoor games, they're for the fans that can go and the stadium that they're having it at, and they're promoted like crazy in those markets. So you just might not be in those markets because they're not like the craziest TV events. You know, even though the outdoor games do great television numbers for the NHL and have historically. They're some of the most watched games ever but they're more for the local fans.
Yes. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
You got to give fans a little extra something. There's a game today. Oh, okay. There's an outdoor game today. Ooh, I'll check that out.
See, I always thought if the NHL ever moved to what the NBA is trying this month of November and December, which is like an early season sort of tournaments, it would be super sick to have it be at a neutral location. And then they have, because there's other, if you watch any other sport other than hockey, a lot of different sports have different championships within. And hockey fans would be like, but it would be kind of cool if like it was the Heritage Classic, let's say rename it something else, but it's at a big football stadium. It's in the cold, and two teams have to earn it, and then they're there at a neutral location in front of fans.
That's kind of neat.
Say it's in Minnesota because it's cold there.
Yeah.
Or Buffalo. I think that would be neat to see, and like there would be like a championship element to that.
I think it also hurt that it was like, is McDavid going to play? These guys have 3 combined wins.
Yeah. Like, again, that's what I mean, right? If to make it a national event, there has to be something on the line and the teams have to be good. And what was on the line? 30th place.
They don't have to be good because we talked about like the winner here can turn around their season. Right? Like this game had more weight than any outdoor game I can think of in recent memory.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Good point.
All done.
Okay, all done. Well, fine then.
Yeah.
We're out of here. We hope
That's
you all
the
have a
second worst thing to hit my ears this show.
We hope you have a safe and happy Halloween. Remember to check your kids' candy beforehand because there might be razor blades in it.
Oh no!
There won't.
No, there probably won't.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.